Teo. I got it right?
Tola.
Tola.
Let's get it.
I did it on purpose.
That's my little brother's name, though.
Tola, you ready?
Of course. Let's get
All
it.
right, let's get it
started.
Two black guys with good credit.
Welcome back to Two Black Guys with Good Credit, the show for the financially curious and the financially knowledgeable. This show is actually, our producer Peter J said, man, we have so much content. We've done almost 300 shows. Like, we don't have to recreate the wheel. Let's bring some things back and just make it, 2025 applicable. So we're bringing back one of my favorite shows with my good friend Arlington Forbes. Rest in peace, my brother. And it's Debt, Don't Fret. And it's also inspired by Lauren as well from Verse, where she was like, let's talk about, debt, because a lot of people are suffering from debt. And how can we, get people comfortable in debt? And to be honest with you, Tola, if I didn't have debt, I wouldn't be where I am today. It's really how you manage debt. And there's good debt and bad debt, as you know.
Of course.
So I thought it'd be a good idea to really lock in and give people what I believe the new version of handling debt. What do you think?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, it's 2025, and I think what a perfect way to start this year off with something like this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to start with the first one. And I always, one of my nemesis bosses when I worked at American Express, he would always say this to me, and it was like, it would be annoying, but it registers in my head. And it's like, know your business. Like, you should be, whatever your chosen field is, you should be the expert and the master of that, or strive to be the master of that. So when I say that, it's almost like AK, otherwise, know your numbers. And so, for example, what I do when I do my monthly budget, I have all my expenses on multiple tabs on spreadsheets, and they're all by building, and then buildings that I own, and personal finances. And even though some people may have, I have a financial advisor, I have an accountant, it's not your accountant's job or your financial advisor's job to know your business. It's your job to know your business, and they can help accentuate it, elevate it, and so forth. So you should know the numbers before they come in. Like, I know my American Express card bill is due on the 21st. I have one due on the 9th. My Visa is due on the 12th. I know when all my bills are due. My Con Ed electrical bills are due around the 20th of the month. That's really understanding your business, understanding the flow of your expenses. Like, get comfortable with it.
Absolutely.
Don't be surprised when things hit and shock. You should be always aware and anticipate. You should almost get excited when a bill comes in the mail to you because you anticipated it coming. You know it's going to come. You know what I'm saying? You as a married man, you have to.
You got to be in the know. Right. And you got to know exactly, like you said, I know when my Amex bill is due, my Chase, I know when everything is due, because you got to stay on top of it.
You got to stay on top of it.
And if you don't stay on top of it, that's when it starts to cloud you, and it really starts to eat at you, and you start to
get overwhelmed.
Get overwhelmed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And even understanding, you got to understand every month your debt obligation, your total burden, and then you got to figure out a plan, how to
plan
attack
accordingly
it.
all the time.
A perfect world for me, every month I try to if I can pay everything off within the first week of the month, or I would love to get to the point where I can just on the first of the month I just tack all my bills, pay them all, boom, 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 and they're done. But sometimes it doesn't work that way, and I have to navigate. One's due on the 9th, one's due on the 12th. Where's money going to come here? How I'm going to shuffle. So it's like every month you should have a plan. A plan of attack, I call it.
You know what I like to do? I like to put everything on auto pay. Right, so it's just I don't even have to think about it.
Set it and forget it.
Set it and forget it.
Yeah.
And once that's done, you know how much money you're making. But also, just to allude to what you're saying, not overspending, right? And or just doing too much. You know how much is coming in.
Right.
You know how much you're gonna be putting out towards your bills.
Right.
And you're not, just spending way too much, and then you're down on the water.
I learned a hard lesson about set it and forget it, because I've always been a control freak, and I was always like, I'm not letting them tell me when they're going to take the money out of my account. I'm going to just do it. And so I have a commercial van for my work. And they're very tight when it comes to the insurance payment. Like I said, I'll pay at the beginning of the month, but the bill is actually due around the 27th, but I'll pay on the 1st, my car. And they suspended my plates, and I had to go down to DMV. Wow. I had to submit my plates for 4 days, the amount of days that and then get them back. And it was I let it happen once, and it happened again. And I said, after that, okay, it's time for set it and forget it. It's even so I had to come to the fact that it works in some cases, like with insurance and certain things. I'm a huge fan of yeah, sometimes it just makes, instead of me having to worry about it and being a couple days late, let me just set it and forget it. So I agree with you.
We definitely got to like make sure that we're also, creating a realistic budget when it comes to these things, right? So when you create that realistic budget, you know exactly, okay, this money right here is for my house, this is for my food, this is for the car, this is for my business, et cetera, et cetera. And when you're able to track and budget like that, it makes things a lot more easier. It's like I said, and forget it in a way.
You're on point, creating a realistic budget. And that's being true with yourself. And getting back to what I say all the time, my new word for 2025 is about self-love, being honest and upfront. And I want to give go a little to the left for a little, I think, and just get back to my girl Lauren, producer for Verse, where she was talking about student debt.
Right.
And to me, this gets back to checking the interest rates. Like, there's a cost of doing business. So there was a cost to your education, which was your student debt. But if you understand, like, for example, when I had to graduate from college many moons ago, and the hustle, the mindset was of like paying off your debt, paying off your student debt. But at that time, my interest rate was only 1%. So the first deal that I got when I sold a building, I made like $120,000. I'm like, wow. And I owed $40,000 of my student debt. So I ran to the bank and paid it off, and I thought there'd be balloons coming down, there'd be flowers celebrating, and everybody'd be like, yo, you did it, bro, you did it. And there was nothing. And when I hindsight and I look back, it was only 1%, the interest rate. So that's kind of like free money. And that's how the wealthy look at it. Like, there's a cost to doing business, somebody has to pay an interest rate.
It's good debt.
So, right. And so the better move would have been, instead of using that money to pay off my student loan, had I bought another building with it.
Absolutely.
The building could have paid off my student loan. You have to, even if it's small credit cards or student loans, look at it, make a strategic plan around your debt. And you're exactly right, creating a realistic budget. I look at, where's a lot of my money going? Where is it not going? How can I save? How can I reallocate? But there's pockets. There's pocket 1 is your expenses. Pocket 2 is your savings, know? And then pocket 3 should be your investments, So sometimes you're just moving the money around. So if you can move some away from your expenses by going on to a different cell phone plan,
0% APR credit cards.
I came from Canada, and I was like, my nephew has an electric car,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I plugged it in to charge it, and I'm like, it's not charging. He goes, no, we turn down our electricity during peak times because the way Canada charges electricity, it charges more during peak times, and it's cheaper on the weekends. And I'm like, whoa, that's kind of deep. So there's ways in which you can if you're gonna pay the electric game, I'm like, okay, great. But these are tactful ways to budget, and it's like looking at it as a game,
Yeah, so just to allude to with Lauren, if you do have school loans and things like that, you definitely want to make sure that, hey, one, it's good debt, right? But good debt comes with age, right? So for me, I'm actually still paying off my student loan debt, right? But I know that it's coming with age. That's about 15 years of age on my credit history, which is good. So you want to make sure that you have those kind of things as well. Those debts are good debts in my eyes, right? Because one, like you stated before, is low interest, right? And if it's low interest and you could actually pay it off over time, 1%, that's not killing you, right? So with that, there comes credit age. So with the credit age, right, over time, that actually helps build your credit up. So for me, I have about 15 years of credit debt. I mean, good credit history, but with that student loan, and that's actually helping me.
Exactly. No, credit history is important. So you're absolutely right. What you're saying, and just to dumb it down a little, is that your credit history is starting from your student debt. And as long as you keep paying that down, it's part of your credit history. If you're to pay it off, it'll leave your credit history. So it'll actually help your credit score. And that's when you got to be strategic and look at your interest rates and look at when you look what you're paying, the cost of doing business. It's like me with credit cards. I have some credit cards that charge an annual fee.
Right.
And if the benefits outweigh the fee, then I keep the card. If the benefits don't outweigh the fee, then I'm not giving away the money.
Absolutely. You got to have a debt payoff strategy.
Exactly.
Right. And so for me, sometimes I may carry a balance over on a credit card, and it's like a 0% APR for 24 months. And I know that it's the 23rd month. I'm like, okay, I go shopping. Let me see what other credit cards I could get now that I could balance transfer. Right. And then now I have a 0% APR for 12 months or whatever it may be. But I don't have to pay interest on it.
The credit hustle.
Come on now.
Come on. There's two types of strategy. Snowball method, which is you're paying off small debts for quick wins. To boost your like
It's like
Peter
getting
does when I play basketball against him. He'll get the easy layups. He doesn't want to come too deep inside the
he
hole
might block him.
I might block him. So he'll get the little jumpers, little thing
Right.
to build up his confidence.
Exactly.
You're not
Exactly.
paying attention to interest rates. You're just like getting the quick hits.
Yep.
And then there's the avalanche method, which is for only for the ballers, Peter. Like this is like Steph Curry 3-point behind the line type thing, where you're paying off the highest debt first,
Yep.
the highest interest rate, and then you're trickling down to the lower debt. So you're going to be saving money over time. So I think you can start off with the snowball method, build up your confidence, and then attack your credit.
You have to, because honestly, you definitely want to pay off those ones with the high interest rates as well first. But if you could definitely like tackle those small little wins, it's definitely going to help boost your confidence and help you get to the next level.
Absolutely. And the last one we're going to talk about before we go to break, my brother,
Right.
is negotiating lower interest rates. And this is what people fail to do. Like, I believe everything is a conversation. And as long as you're not scared of that 2-letter word, which is no,
yeah.
and I get it all the time, and you kind of push the envelope a little.
Yeah.
Like I always say, especially when I negotiate deals, I sometimes want to put in an offer that's like borderline insulting. I'm not on the insult line yet. I'm very close. Did I say it in Nigerian voice? I'm very close. I'm very close to the insult, but I'm not there where you want to kick me out of the room. But I'm very close because I want to test your boundary. I want to test, where I can go.
Absolutely.
I want you to give me that look.
Yeah.
Because if I give you a number and you just jump on it right away, in my head I'm like, damn. So I think when it comes to like calling the banks, calling the credit cards, say, hey, can I get a better? And they may offer you another card. They may offer you a better term. Like you can't be scared to use your voice and just simply ask. And it's amazing how many people are just like, they'll give you all the reasons why not to do it. And I always say in life and business in general, I always look at what's the worst case scenario. And if I can handle the worst case scenario, I'm all in.
Yeah. For me, I'm infamous for, hey, can I talk to your supervisor? Because sometimes
I get the gatekeepers out of the way.
And even if the supervisor's rude, I may call again just to make sure I get somebody else.
Correct.
Right. And I like to say sometimes you got to get through the no's to get to the yeses. Right. And what I mean by that is, hey, make sure that you're calling every single time. Can I negotiate my interest rate? Can I pay down this, or can I just lower it? Something. But use your voice, like Sean just said, and make sure that you are actually, getting these things done.
Yeah, and just some tipping things that you could ask for when you make the call. First, you want to ask, can I get a lower interest rate? What is the term? Do you have any other products out there that I can take advantage of? Like, take advantage of is like a strong, is there anything I can take advantage of? Even when it comes to deals, coupons, like I'm getting a new car. I'm getting rid of Elon Musk Tesla. I'm
getting the Rivian.
I'm giving the Rivian. And I was like, do you guys do anything? Because I know their number one competitor is Tesla.
Right.
Do you guys do anything that for Tesla customers that are migrating over? Is there any type of discount I can get? And he sent me a coupon code.
Really?
Yeah, $500 to get some mats,
You never know what you're going to get.
That's what I'm saying. And I just said
Closed mouth don't get fed.
Exactly.
Yep.
And I also, some other tips I think people should look out for is like debt consolidation.
Yes, most definitely.
And this is going to your bank and saying, I have these outstanding bills. If I consolidate them together, what kind of interest rate can you give me? What kind of terms can you give me? What kind of deal? You're a deal maker.
It's usually lower, too.
You're a deal maker. Like our famous guy says, you have no cards to play. Where are your cards? Let's make a deal. So you want to focus on always like making a deal and finding what works best for you, So with that being said, bro, this has been a great first half. We're going to go to commercial break. We'll be back with more Two Black Guys with Good Credit.
Let's get it.
We're back. Two Black Guys with Good Credit, the show for the financially curious and the financially knowledgeable.
Yes.
This is what I always say. Recreate yourself. Find opportunities. Like increase your income streams. Like you're not confined to one only source of revenue and one source of opportunity. Like create. This generation is about creating and be bold in your ask and monetization. Like Absolutely. That's what I like. But be experienced, when I met with you, you laid out what you do and I found you're an expert in certain things, and if you find that you're an expert, you have to ask, and I always have my rule. If I'm at a table and this is to do with my nonprofit, and everybody that I'm meeting with Chase Bank, I'm meeting with a school teacher, a principal, whoever, and if everybody at that table is getting paid to be in this interview, and I'm not, then I'm asking for money.
Yeah, that's
I'm asking, is there a fee? Is there something you give? But if we're all volunteering, then that's fine.
Perfect.
That's fine. Well, I'll do it for free. So you have to respect your time, and you have to always figure out what's my skill set and where can I monetize it. And it may not be a lot at the beginning. It doesn't have to be a lot, but it's really have that mindset. I'm going to increase my income streams. I'm going to increase my income streams. And I always say I never refuse an opportunity to listen. So like, oh, I'm not ready to do that. Like a lady called me up. Oh, I know you teach financial literacy. You have an 8-week program. I was referred to you, and I'm like, okay, great. She says, oh, I have some ESL students. I'm like, okay, English is second language. I understand. They speak Arabic, Chinese, Spanish. Can you teach financial literacy in these languages? And to manage expectations, I said, listen, I've dealt with people that English is not their first language. I can do it. I know I can get through it.
Right.
But I just want to let you know, I do not speak Chinese. I do not speak Arabic. And I know a little bit of French, and I can read a Spanish menu. But I'm giving you the opportunity to say no, but I'm laying my cards on the table, and I'm not throwing a deal away that I couldn't do. It would have challenged me to teach financial literacy in 4 different dialects. Google Translator would be right by my side the whole time, but I would get it done. And that's my point about finding opportunities and not saying no to them.
Yes, it's very important that we actually find the opportunities. There's a lot of us that don't even know the innate abilities that we actually have. Like take Mia for example. She actually works a 9 to 5, but she's here. She's shooting with us. So this is another hustle for her, right? So you got to increase that side hustle, right? So for me, yeah, I have a venue, but I do photography, I do videography, I have a blog, right? But these things actually bring me more revenue, and that actually helps me pay down those debts, right? So for Lauren, hey, you got to increase your side hustle, right? And whatever that may be, find your passion and then use that as a tool to actually make more money and pay off your debt faster.
Exactly. And I think there's always opportunities as far as finding like ways to increase. Like I was just in Canada consolidating some family items, and there was a lot of items that we could just sell, and resell. So I think, I have if I don't use it for a season and it goes out because there's a reason, so it goes away. So it's just like staying minimalist in a sense, knowing that, only buying what you need and things that you don't need.
Give it to somebody or sell it.
Sell it, correct.
Yeah. Absolutely. I think that's vital. There's a lot of things that we don't need that we need to sell that could actually bring us back more revenue.
Not to stop you, but just to say, I'm just excited about getting to the next point. And what makes America where it is today, what makes the success of America a global powerhouse in this world is that we know how to create. We know how to create a need.
Yes.
We know how to create a need. Like Apple's the best in doing it. Apple, like, you can have the Apple 14. Then they're like, their business model is based on throw away your 14 because now we have the 15. Then throw away your 15 because now we have the 16. And that's their mindset. They don't want you keeping old Apple products. They want you to throw them out and get the new version. So I think you have to have a discipline when it comes to accumulating debt. And it's like learning to live without understanding, do I want this or do I need this?
It. Yes.
And making those hard decisions. Like, I'm always trying to slim. I used to have my routine used to be, I had an energy drink every day and a bag of chips. I cut them off. I used to go buy tea from Dunkin' Donuts every morning.
Yourself.
Yeah, what happened was they gave me coffee instead of tea one day, and I don't drink coffee. And I told them the next day, and then he offered me a free tea. I was like, I'm done. I'm done.
But you see something like that, those small little habits that you made, right, started putting money back into your pocket.
Absolutely.
And I think that's a huge thing for a lot of people. They're so consumer based. They want to spend, but they don't think about, hey, what can I actually, have? What do I actually have in my household that I could just use and make myself
leverage? Yeah, a little more time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I'm always a fan of, and it's once again in this consumerism society that we live in, and more people don't have it than have it. Is like, start focusing on building an emergency fund.
Very important.
And knowing that, okay, because this will take away the anxiety. And I'm not saying, and fight yourself not to use it if you don't have to, but it's good to there in case, just in case. I don't think just in case needs to be hundreds of thousands. It can be a little 10, a little 20,000, just in case. You need to cover yourself. If you can be a couple months ahead on your bills, is a sweet spot.
Absolutely.
Because then it gives you peace of mind. It allows you to think more strategically. It allows you to get involved in projects that are more of a long-term gain than a short-term gain, because then you're not hungry. And I have a friend calling me up right now. I know he hasn't worked in so long, and he's like wanting to meet with me because I know it's a desperate deal he wants to do, and nobody likes desperate deals. So you always want to be in a control situation, and having reserves allows you to do that.
Yeah, I always say the 5 Ps. Proper planning prevents poor performance, right? And if you're able to actually plan for those times, then, and you know, those opportunities come, then it's like, hey, Sean, you know, let's buy this building. And Sean is like, hey, I got 100K, I'm ready to go.
Right.
And it's like, boom. And you know, you need that in your life, right? So you always want to make sure that you're creating that emergency fund, that you have a cushion, right, in order to like fall back on, especially when times get hard, right? You want to make sure that, hey, like I got enough to pay my bills for at least a year, right? So, you know, just make sure that you're, you know,
And build towards. If you're not there yet, just
build
get,
towards
just
it,
get there.
stack that money up.
Get there.
Yeah.
Well, Tola.
Yes, sir.
This was a pleasure. We are officially two black guys with good credit. And we're the show for the financially curious and financially knowledgeable. And it's been a great episode. And I appreciate you. And we got more to come. And we out.
Let's go. Peace, y'all.
Two black guys with good credit.